Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute. Thank you for being here.
Doc. Hi. He's engrossed in his notes.
He is.
Yes.
And the voice from over there, well, that's our executive radio producer, Ethan Euchre.
How you doing?
Thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here as always.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Hi again. Hi, Doc.
Well, for those of you that listen to our program and watch via WeBeamTV.com, you guys know that Dr. Bonati started out in invasive open back spine surgery. Mm-hmm. And he learned along the way that those techniques and procedures didn't really work. And that really got to him because when he tried to help fix somebody, he really wanted them relieved of their pain. So over time, he developed his own patented methods and tools, and they are called the Bonati Spine Procedures. And he has brought help to many thousands of people suffering from neck, back, sciatic pain, if they have whiplash, fibromyalgia, RSD, migraines. These are all things that can be relieved by the Bonati Spine Procedures. And it's not just us saying so. Week after week, we have patients that talk about their experience, and we have over 94% success, and that's patient-reported success. And when we look back in our files over a 7.5-year time frame, the actual percentage rate was 98.75% immediate patient satisfaction.
That's incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not only just, it continues to amaze me, the spectrum of patients that we talk to.
Yes.
All age ranges. In fact, I think the patient we're going to speak with today is she's just
22.
a young lady, 22
Yes.
years old. So it's not just the elderly or anything like that.
Correct.
It's people of all ages that can
Yes.
benefit from the Bonati Spine Procedures.
And even those that have heard from other doctors that that's it. Sorry, you're just going to have to live with the pain. Not the case the majority of the time. Seek out the Bonati Spine Institute, and you can do so at Bonati.com. Later in our Back to Life segment, we're actually going to speak to that patient. Her name's Marie Boltersdorf, and she had surgery basically on her tailbone. L5S1 area. She's going to be calling in from Virginia. Then we get a chance to speak to critically acclaimed filmmaker and New York Times bestselling author of America, Imagine a World Without Her, Dinesh D'Souza.
Very excited about that one.
Yes, and then of course we'll hear what's new in American medicine today. But in studio, we have Dr. Dreschen, and he is a world-renowned plastic surgeon at the Clinique of Plastic Surgery here in St. Petersburg. And you're going to be discussing with us your specific refresher lift procedure and cool sculpting. So again, thank you for being here, Dr. Dreschen.
Good morning, Kimberly.
Kimberly, I know we actually did a segment with Dr. Dreschen
Yes.
for our television show, which is going to air a week from tonight, I believe.
Yes.
And I know I was telling you when we went to his office to film that segment that I wasn't honestly very interested in hearing about the facelift thing because I just
you're a guy.
because I'm 34
Right.
years old. I'm a guy. It wasn't really that interesting to me.
But what did I tell you?
You said just wait till you see some of these photos.
Yes.
And we saw the before and afters, and it boggled my mind how different some of these people looked. So, Dr. Dreschen, why don't you kind of explain to the listeners how you came up with your facelift, your refresher lift procedure?
Yeah, refresher lift procedure is a procedure I've been developing over the last 15 years. I think right now it really down pat, so I get a very predictable result. I think it's also a certain philosophy of rejuvenation. Rejuvenation is not nip and tuck. It's not making people tight looking or odd looking like you can see a number of Hollywood fixture. But it's trying to get people looking more dynamic, more pleasant, more fresh. And I think when you look at surgery with that goal in mind, you're going to automatically do a number of steps that are not the usual facelift procedure. So what I've developed is some kind of what we call a vertical lift, is doing what you do in surgery, the same thing as you do with your hand when you try to show a fresher face, and also really look at the expression of the person. And since somebody sometimes look angry, they look tired, they look sad, and I think it's really important to focus on improving that expression. I think if you look at the before and after, I ran a study with medical students showing pretty clearly that the people afterward were much more desirable in society. And then if you look at what's happening all over the country, from a radio station to a TV station, there's nobody with a sad or angry face on the screen. Everybody looks nice and fresh and dynamic, and that regardless of the age. So for me, the rejuvenation is more about restoring a fresh, pleasant expression, a dynamic expression, which is important for everyone, including the business community.
Very true.
Well, and I know we got into how, especially nowadays, especially for females, Kimberly,
Yes.
As you age, you tend to, it's just kind of the way society is nowadays, where, there's such pressure to continue to try to look young,
Yes.
To be viable. So, I mean, do you do more females, I'm assuming, Dr. Dreschen, or?
Yeah, it's still the trend, especially in Florida, is still 80% female. But I still think the men mostly don't participate as much into it, mostly by ignorance. They don't really see what can be done for them. But in a competitive society like we are, and where jobs are a little scarcer that we want to find, and in politics, etc., I think it's very important to have an engaging expression, a dynamic look, and that's proven all through the business world.
That's true. I mean, we see it right now. The economy is in the toilet. Let's face it, it is. And with people having to work longer, they're not able to retire at 65 anymore. So if they're in that workforce, they need to look young and energetic, so it's not on companies' minds. Hey, look at this older employee. They're starting to slow down. Nope. And
Yeah, it's absolutely true. I mean, you can see definitely. Just look at the anchor people
Yes.
on TV. I mean, there's none of these people. The old Morley Schaefer and everybody else have virtually disappeared because they don't look fresh enough, and we want to see the dynamic, clean-looking features, and that's the way society is.
but it's also a
That-
self-confidence booster. Sorry, Dr. Benatti.
There are two elements that they are going to be very important in the 21st century, and this is locomotion and how you look. It's true that we're aging and the population is aging, but really the experience and the quality of the individuals that they are in the 50s and 60s and 70s are irreplaceable. And the business community and the arts community, whoever works with that specific individual, is losing that type of an individual because doesn't look as good as supposed to. And then they replace that person with somebody on the 20s and 30s, and then they really don't have the knowledge that the other person accumulates through life. And at the same time, the same thing goes with locomotion. Person needs to be able to move, needs to stand straight, needs to walk, needs to do things. So the technology today is amazing how can restore the outside of the human to really a very much good-looking youth, and at the same time maintain the quality of the brain and the knowledge.
Well, I totally agree with that. I think it has become a very important aspect in the later years to be as active and participate in society as much as we can. The reverse is true senility. I mean, you want people to be able to still be useful to society as late as they can in life.
Well, with just a few minutes left, I know we wanted to touch upon your cool sculpting as
Yes.
well, which is also fascinating. You basically have a machine that sort of sucks the fat up into it and freezes it. Can you explain a little bit how cool sculpting works?
Well, cool sculpting is basically a non-invasive way to get rid of lumps and rolls, so there's no other technique beside liposuction. Is more of a surgical approach. So the cool sculpting is based on a unusual idea is that if you freeze the skin and you cool the skin badly enough, you can actually freeze the underlying fat. And the fat is more sensitive than the skin. So basically, the fat will be damaged and the fat cell will die while your skin is virtually untouched. So by applying the very cool applicator on the skin, you can actually reduce the fat underneath.
And it only takes about an hour, correct?
It's an hour per area. It's an
Per
hour
area.
per area. But I mean, there's no downtime. It's a little sore afterward, but there's no downtime. You can go back to work right away. So for the professional, I think it's an excellent idea.
How long does it take the system to flush out?
About a month or so, you see the result. Yeah, and the results are permanent. Basically, it's destruction of fat cell.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, because the cells on the body and the fat cells on the body, you were born with certain amount of cells, and if you destroy those ones, those things that don't come back again. The important thing that I was trying to ask you is, once you do this freezing situation, do you have any and it needs to be eliminated in a certain way? You are that thing is eliminated as a fluid to the kidneys and
Correct.
as a waste. Is any compromise to the kidneys? Any problem?
No,
They are being
no.
studied?
It's a very slow process. Basically, the fat cell explosion is almost like releasing oil, and the oil is pretty much slowly reabsorbed by the body. I mean, there's no evidence of any damage to kidney and so on. None of this is immediate. It's a very slow process.
Okay. It's not going to elevate your cholesterol
No,
or anything like that.
no.
All right.
It's fascinating stuff. So
It is.
if people want to look into the refresher lift or cool sculpting, you do both of them at your office in St. Petersburg, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And how would they get in touch?
Well, you can check my website. It's called clinicps.com, clinic like clinic cosmetic, or my phone number is 727-592-0991.
Excellent.
That's great. So if you yourself want to tighten up those problem areas or give yourself a little more confidence, reach out to Dr. Christian Dreschnen in St. Petersburg, the Clinique of Plastic Surgery. You're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. After the break, we're going to hear from patient Marie Boltersdorf. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years, and it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results, no pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone, nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonatti Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonatti spine procedures, Alfred Bonatti, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonatti, Ethan Euchre, and our senior fellow, Jeff Wagstaff. Now, on the line, we have patient Marie Boltersdorf, and she's on the line from Virginia. Young lady, age 22. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I hope everybody's having a nice day today.
Yes. And you have quite an interesting story, so why don't you start from the beginning? I believe you had spoken with me and said you were in a car accident, so why don't you kind of elaborate on that and how you made your way to the Bonatti Spine Institute?
Well, the way I actually heard about Bonatti Spine Institute was because my father was actually a patient there. Mm-hmm. But when I was in middle school about 8 years ago, mm-hmm. I was in the car with my mom. My seat was back, and we had gotten rear-ended. Right away, I didn't feel any pain at all. A week later, I was still fine. And I went to a friend's house, and I was just sitting on a rock for about a half hour with mm-hmm. her and slept over. And the next morning, I was just curled over in pain. Oh. And I was out of school for 2 weeks, just unable to even walk.
And how old were you at the time, Marie? Did you say middle school?
I know it was about 8 years ago. My math is a little rusty.
That's because you missed all that school.
Yeah. College teaches you so much.
I guess so. So you got in a car accident. You had a problem with your tailbone, correct? Was that where the issue was, where the pain was?
Yeah, it was actually directly at my tailbone.
Oh, wow. Okay. So was it debilitating? You said you were out of school for a while. How else did it affect your life?
It took a really long time to be well enough to go back to school. I was out of school for, at least from what I remember, I believe it was 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. And when I got back to school, it was very, very embarrassing because in middle school when kids are at their cruelest time, mm-hmm. I was walking around with a rolling backpack and a donut to sit on.
Oh, no. Right.
And it was extremely humiliating the entire year. I had a lot of pain, and I went to many different doctors, and they looked at me for cysts on my tailbone mm-hmm. and didn't find anything. When they didn't find a cyst, they said, well, looks like you're going to have to live with it, get over it.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow, and these were leading doctors in your area?
Yes, they were.
Isn't it amazing, Kimberly, how often we hear that story where we have a patient on, they're in a ton of pain, and basically their doctors, and sometimes multiple doctors, mm-hmm. say, well, there's nothing we can do. You're going to have to live with it. So what made you decide to look up Dr. Bonatti, Marie?
Well, like I said, for 8 years, I've felt the pain from it. It went down a little bit to the point where I didn't have to sit on a donut or anything unless I was taking very, very long car drives. But after about 8 years, I had gone snowboarding because I'm a sporty person. I love snowboarding and everything, and went with a couple friends. And I fell just right on my tailbone, and I was curled over in horrible pain, and the pain was worse for about 3 or 4 days, and then went back to where it was before. But after that, I decided, you know what, enough is enough. Mm-hmm. I've been having this pain. I've been having this issue for so long. I talked to my dad, and I said, well, that Spinal Institute, Bonatti Institute, helped you. You think maybe they can help me? Because all the doctors here in Virginia, you tell them there's something wrong with your tailbone, they go running the other way.
Right.
So your doctor...
It's such a high liability.
Exactly. So your father had a procedure through Dr. Bonatti mm-hmm. A few years ago. So obviously He gave him glowing reviews, I'm assuming, so you knew that Dr. Bonati was legit. You looked him up. So what did Dr. Bonati say when you made your way down here to Hudson?
It was a really surprising experience because, I mean, my consistent experience with any medical problems I've ever had with any clinic was you come in, they say, okay, you're this number patient, sit down, wait, we'll get your stuff down, look at you, okay, bye, never speak to you again. It wasn't like that at all when I came into the Institute. It was like I was coming into a family reunion. Everybody was so incredibly friendly, and even when I met Dr. Bonati, he came in the room, patted me on the head, and he said, "You poor girl." He was like, "You've been going through a lot. How are you feeling and everything?" And he was just so incredibly friendly, and it was just absolutely wonderful. And when he talked to me, he looked at my MRI and everything, and he was looking at it, and immediately he knew where it was on the tailbone and everything. And he said, "Are you having pain here?" And I said, "Yep, that's exactly where it is." And he was like, "Well, it's because of this, and no problem. We can fix that." And I was surprised because he didn't bat an eye at it being right at the tailbone, because every other doctor who I've told him it's on the tailbone, it's not anywhere else, they go, "Oh, well," and get kind of really nervous and afraid because they don't want to touch the tailbone.
Dr. Bonati's not intimidated by an old tailbone, are you? Are you, Dr. Bonati? So Marie, just kind of walk us through the process real quick. We only have a couple of minutes left, but how was your procedure? How did it go? Did you experience immediate pain relief while you were still on the table, as seems to happen a lot?
And talking with the doctor?
Well, during the procedure, it was very painful. I usually can boast on having a high pain tolerance, but man, I felt it. But after he had finished, and he said, "Okay, get up and walk around," kind of thought to myself, "Get up and walk around? You just did the surgery." But I did anyways. And he said, "Do you feel anything?" I said, "Nope, I don't feel any pain or anything there anymore."
Amazing.
And he was like, "Okay, good."
Yeah.
And he said, "You can sit back down." And I sat back down. Next thing I know, I woke up in the recovery room, very sleepy, but feeling pretty good.
Right.
So it was immediate pain relief. That's one of the things that still blows my mind about the Bonati spine procedure, is that, you know, some of these people that have been in pain for so long, while they're still on the table, you know, Dr. Bonati gets in there, works his magic, and they immediately don't feel that pain anymore. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, the procedure was less than 10 minutes. It was amazing.
Wow. That's fantastic. And being interactive with the doctor, I'm sure, helped him exactly pinpoint the root of the problem.
Oh, yes, definitely. And I mean, I've already recommended Bonati Institute to multiple friends of mine that had issues, and told them, you really want to be treated like a person, you really want to be treated well by a doctor and see people who actually care about you for once, you go there.
That's fantastic. So I'm assuming you're feeling good nowadays, Marie.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's excellent. Well, continued pain-free living. You're a very young lady to be experiencing that kind of pain to begin with, so we're glad that Dr. Bonati and the Bonati Spine Institute could help alleviate your pain.
Thank you, and I thank Dr. Bonati, too.
Thank you, Mary.
Continue good health, and thank you for taking part in our program.
I'm sorry, what was that? You broke up a little bit.
That's okay. I just said thank you for taking part in the program.
All right, thank you. You have a great day.
Bye-bye,
You too. Thanks, Marie. Bye-bye. All right. Now, if people are in pain like Marie was and is no longer in pain thanks to the Bonati Spine Institute, how do people get in touch, Kimberly?
Well, if they need more help, they can reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute at 855-267-0483, or they can visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, well, you're going to hear more from critically acclaimed filmmaker and best author of the New York Times list.
Best-selling author.
I got that flipped around. But anyway, you're going to hear from Dinesh D'Souza about his movie America. You're listening to News Radio 970 WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now, I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by executive producer Ethan Euchre. And excited, on the line, we have Dinesh D'Souza. He is New York Times bestselling author of America and also critically acclaimed filmmaker. I personally saw the movie America on the 4th of July weekend.
Perfect time to see that,
Yes.
see that film, by the way. Because I actually haven't. I've read excerpts of the book, but I haven't seen the film yet. And you were telling me that you were just blown away by it.
Unbelievable, Dinesh. I couldn't believe how well you presented the movie. Because in school, I don't even think I learned some of what you taught me in the film.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that, and it's just wonderful to see the reaction to the film around the country. By the way, our website is americathemovie.com, where you can find out where the film is playing near you. So, I'm an immigrant, and I remember that first feeling I had of America when I first came here at the age of 17. That feeling has never left me, and I think it continues to define the spirit of America, the sense of possibility, the abundance that is enjoyed by the ordinary man, the idea that you can be the architect of your own destiny. So I've been kind of stunned to see over the years the ways in which there's a kind of progressive leftist critique of America that's not just in politics, but has now ensconced itself in schools, in colleges, in the media, in Hollywood. And so my film is a kind of course, I air that critique. I let the leftists rail against America, but ultimately I want people to leave the film falling in love with America all over again and wanting to fight for America.
Kimberly, one thing that I enjoyed your description of Dinesh's movie is you said sort of the opening parts of the film made you almost ashamed to be an American.
Absolutely.
And then what Dinesh reveals in the film is that the reason that they're all lies, right? Now, what types of things are debunked in the film, Dinesh, for those who haven't seen it?
Well, the central idea is that the success and wealth of America are all based upon theft, oppression, and plunder. This is the propaganda that is being taught to our young people. And if we sometimes wonder why our children are not as patriotic as we were or we are, the answer is that they're taught to hate their own country. So they're told a story about America that begins with the evil Christopher Columbus, stealing the country from the Native Americans. Then they're told about 250 years of slavery. America stole half of Mexico in the Mexican War. American foreign policy, even now, is not motivated by idealism, but by stealing other people's oil and their resources. And then, of course, we hear from Obama that our free market system, capitalism, is based upon theft, taking away from people what he calls their fair share. So that's the leftist critique. And we stated so strongly in the film at one of our screenings, a woman, got up and said, I'm just shaking with anger. I'm tempted to walk out right now. But we said, no, listen, we need to hear this stuff because this is the stuff that is being taught in our education system. Yes. We can't get away from it. What we need to do is think about it and answer it. And so the film begins by letting the critics of America rant and rave about America. Then I begin to examine these things one by one. I really show that what the left has done is leave a lot of history out because it's so inconvenient. It doesn't fit the narrative that they've been painstakingly trying to concoct.
It's an inconvenient truth, Dinesh, to quote Al Gore.
It's an inconvenient truth. Yes, I suppose that's a good way to put it. So what we do in this film, in 2016, my last film, we traveled in space to Hawaii, to Indonesia, to Kenya, looking for kind of Obama's worldview.
And I saw
in this film, we travel through time, and you see recreations of episodes of American history that help you to understand that many of these great issues we think about, it occurred to Thomas Jefferson. It was debated by Abraham Lincoln. So by looking at our history, we begin to see that this country has wrestled in a very powerful way with these issues. And at the end of the day, far from being the problem, America is the solution.
I thoroughly enjoyed. I saw you did a piece with Megyn Kelly on Fox News, and you actually had her laughing. I think she was a little befuddled with an analogy that you used, sort of likening Obama in the U.S. to a serial killer / child molester father. But it makes sense when you explain it.
Here's the point I was trying to make. I was simply trying to explain the ideology of Barack Obama. Look, there's an interesting moment in the film in which I'm talking to the radical activist Ward Churchill. And I ask him this question. I say, if you had an atomic bomb, would you drop it on America? Kind of a startling question to ask, but here's why I asked it. Because the left, including Churchill, even Obama, they always go around italicizing how bad America has been in the world. They talk about America almost, Ward Churchill does, as a kind of evil empire, as almost America is like Nazi Germany. And so my point is, wait a minute, if I lived in Nazi Germany and if I saw the bad influence that Nazi Germany is having on the world and the harm it's doing to its own citizens, I would do what I could to undermine Nazi Germany, to bring down the regime. So the question I was asking Ward Churchill was, if you had an atomic bomb and if America is this evil force in the world, would you drop the bomb and get rid of this evil force? And what's quite amazing is to watch the little tumblers of his brain as he processes this question and gives a surprising answer to it. So that's what I was getting at with Megyn Kelly. I was trying to say that from Obama's point of view, he sees America, if you will, as a destructive and harmful force in the world. So it's not that he hates America, it's that he sees America as a force for bad, and he's trying to contain and control that.
There's a whole lot of things that you get into, and not only in the book but with the film. A Florida State Senator here, maybe you want to elaborate on this one, Kimberly, Alan Hayes.
He did. He was so impressed by your movie that he said he wants to introduce a one-page bill later this year, and the bill actually states that students in 1,700 Florida public high schools and middle schools are to be shown this film unless their parents object. And I think that's an absolute must, because right now you have the far left, and a lot of their books are being put into the school system, and it's mandatory reading. And if you're going to show far left viewpoints and things that aren't true about history, it should be mandatory that your book and or your movie is presented as well.
Well, when I first heard about this, I flinched at the word mandatory, but then I realized, wait a minute, this is in college. In school, everything is mandatory.
Correct.
It's not like you have options about what courses to take or what books to read. The school decides, either they show Michael Moore's Fahrenheit 9/11 or Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth, or they don't show it. If they show it, everybody watches it, unless their parents write a letter. And so this Florida legislator is doing nothing other than what's happening in the schools anyway. And what he's trying to say is, look, if you're going to get one perspective, if you will, the shame narrative, as I call it, America, the inexcusable, isn't it nice to hear from an immigrant the other side of the story?
That's absolutely correct. And we're actually going to have Senator Alan Hayes on the show at a future date. I was just speaking with him the other day. Seems like a great guy. But yeah, I mean, if Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth is going to be shown, then you kind of need a little bit of balance there. Dinesh D'Souza is our guest right now, New York Times bestselling author of America, Imagine a World Without Her, as well as the film of the same name. Dinesh, I wanted to ask you, actually, one of the excerpts from your book that particularly gets liberals fired up is when you ask how Obama managed to get elected president as a complete unknown, and you say that there's a one-word answer. What is that?
Well, the one-word answer is slavery and America's, accumulated racial shame and guilt over the issue of slavery. So this is the reason that, I'm not saying that Obama was elected, quote, because he was black, because I think what really made people turn to Obama was that he was a different kind of African-American leader, not like Jesse Jackson, not like Al Sharpton, not a racial shakedown artist. Obama's a major shakedown artist, but not a racial shakedown artist. And so, the irony of it all, of course, is that Obama's not descended himself from slaves, neither on his father's side nor his mother's side. His mother, of course, was white, but his father was a foreign student from Africa, not an African-American. And Obama hasn't really had the African-American experience. If you read his book, he talks far more about Kenya than he does about Selma or Martin Luther King. And so this is a man cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, for certain. Got a couple minutes left with you, Dinesh. Your thoughts on, say, the 2016 presidential race? Because, Obama's going to be out of office at that point. Obviously, he can't run for a third term. Where do you think the election's going? What does America need to get back on track? And what are you going to do when you don't have Obama to bash around anymore?
Well, there are two rival spirits in America today. One is the spirit of 1776. This is the entrepreneurial spirit that built America. The other can be called the spirit of 1968. This is the Obama spirit. It's the spirit of dependency, of envy and resentment, of declaring war against the wealth creators, about preferring to sit inside the bandwagon rather than pulling the bandwagon. So one of these two spirits is going to prevail. Look, this isn't just about Obama. In the movie America, I focus on this progressive movement that's much bigger than Obama. Obama didn't actually even create the progressive movement. It created him. So when Obama says he wants to remake America, he can't do it by himself, and he can't do it even in 8 years, despite all the damage he's already done. I think he's going to try to pass the baton on to a leader who is similar to him, possibly to Hillary Clinton, to keep going in the same direction that he has started. So I think that there's going to be a big choice before the American people about whether or not they want to strengthen the spirit of 1776 that built this country, or the spirit of 1968 that is taking it down.
And by taking it down, you mean from the inside?
Yeah, I mean that, we've been living in this American era since World War II, in which it's a very special time to be an American. America's had this wonderfully positive influence in the world despite our mistakes. The ordinary man in America has had an exceptional life that's not available to most people around the world. So we don't want that American dream to come to an end. It's already become more fragile under Obama, and I think what we need to do is be more vigilant in protecting it.
Well, I know we don't have a lot of time left. I actually wanted to ask your thoughts, Dinesh, on your upcoming criminal litigation, but I'm sure you're probably tired of talking about that as well. But best of luck to you with that. Best of luck to you with the film, and we certainly appreciate you joining us on American Medicine today, and hopefully we'll have you back again sometime real soon.
Thank you. It's really enjoyed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Great guy.
He is amazing.
So
and I'm glad
knowledgeable.
Costco finally is selling the book. Google finally got its act together, not burying headlines for the search.
Yep, wanted to get into that too, but you know how it is when you're doing a radio show.
Absolutely.
You only have a certain amount of time. So
We do, and you're listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. We'll hear more after the break.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact, I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thanks for continuing to listen to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brumell, here with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati, Ethan Euchre, and actually we still have guest Dr. Dreschen in studio, and he'll be joining us in just a few moments to talk with Dr. Bonati. But first, you heard the interview with Dinesh D'Souza about America, so what are some of your thoughts based on the movie?
Well, I think Dinesh D'Souza is a hero. I was not born in this country, but I got the benefit of every dream that I had when I was a kid. So not only in my profession, in my private life, in my aspirations, in the things that I want to accomplish, this country allowed me to do that. It's very sad to see that these opportunities are going to be denied to the next generation. And they're going to be denied thanks to Obama. Obama lost the opportunity of his life. It's amazing what type of opportunity he had. And instead of that, he entertained with dumb polemics and left side thoughts. Probably he's damaged on his youth and never recover. The problem is America is unique. And America is and will be America because they are Americans here. Mm-hmm. The situation of the two parties is very distressful. Mm-hmm. I was criticized one time when they said I hate politicians. I don't hate the person. Mm-hmm. I hate what they are doing to America. I hate that they are mediocre, irresponsible, and they are totally looking for their own benefit. I don't care if you're Republican or you are Democrat. Mm-hmm. You're American first. So you need to go and look for the health of the country and don't lie, don't promise lies, don't create expectations that you cannot accomplish. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do something, go, do it, live, and go and live your life again as a private individual. What you have is individuals that become professional politicians. Mm-hmm. They are creating an issue. It's like three different people in the country. The ones that they want to maintain America as America was before. Mm-hmm. They want a group that is so disoriented, so self-service, so uneducated, to incredibly poor. They are the slaves of this country. They depend on the government. They depend on somebody giving them something. Mm-hmm. They try to look if they can sue somebody, if they can get somebody, or they can get some entitlement. So those are not Americans. The Americans are the ones that they go and they stand up by themselves and they don't want any help. They want to get better by their brains, the capacity to fight. Mm-hmm. That is the real American. And you have the other group. That is the group of politicians, that they are irresponsible, immoral, and totally corrupted. Mm-hmm. So I am going to really see what happened with these next elections to really believe what's going on in the country. Mm-hmm. But, I would like to always add that the political system needs to be railed in. Mm-hmm. And to do that, we should not ever vote for anybody who's in the government, good, mediocre, or bad. Nobody in the government should stay more than 8 years. 4 years elected, and if you are good, stay another 4 years. But then go home and live with the laws that you passed to the country. Mm-hmm. And if you don't do that, you have no right to be in this country.
Correct.
Mm. What I know Dr. Bonatti has always been very vehement about term limits and things like that. Yes. So we need to get an expert on here. I mentioned it before off air that we need to get someone who, a legal expert who can tell us what that process is.
Correct.
Because I don't know what that process is.
They say you don't want a constitutional convention because that could be disastrous and erase pretty much the Constitution from the beginning. Mm-hmm. But we'd be looking for a referendum.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
yeah, referendum is the way to go. It's not expensive. It's real. You are as foreign as me, as I, Christian. What do you think about the political system in this country today?
Unfortunately, way through fractured, fractionated. Seem that the country has lost its original goals, and politicians exploit whatever crevice they can find in the system to gain vote. I mean, unfortunately, I don't see a unity of purpose any longer. I mean, that's a little bit of the disappointing aspect of politics in America these days.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And the only way to correct that is to get these people back home. Mm. I mean, people who are in the government for 20 years. That's ridiculous.
Mm.
All right. Well, again, Dr. Dreschen, if people want to, of course, we we cover a lot of array of topics on American Medicine Today. Dr. Bonati loves to get into the politics of things. He's very passionate about it. But essentially, you know, we if people were listening to your segment earlier, Dr. Dreschen, he's a world-renowned plastic surgeon at the Clinique of Plastic Surgery in St. Pete. And again, if people want to look into either the cool sculpting or the refresher facelift that you do, what is your website?
CliniquePS.com.
CliniquePS.com.
And Clinique spelled like the cosmetics line.
Correct.
Well,
Excellent.
thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Dreschen. We truly appreciate it. Amazing results. Some of these people that have undergone the procedure actually look like they could be their own children. So amazing things to go seek out online and with his facility. Aside from that, we're excited. We go national on Fox Business News as of Sunday, August 17th, 5:30 to 6 p.m. You'll watch American Medicine Today. So if you know or you are specifically suffering from headaches, neck, back, or sciatic pain, tune in at that time. You're listening to News Radio 970 WFLA. You can also see us on ABC here locally, WFTS from 7 to 7:30. We'll see you next week.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.